now. Hello, everybody. What's up? Chris, you have a new microphone.
Yeah, man. We're about to turn this into Italian Bank Weekly. Me and Arnie were talking about some of the Italian banks. Bro, I'm telling you right now, the banking sector is a very attractive place to be. You know, Arnie works for banks. I mean, I'm sorry, Arnie, if you didn't want people to know, now people know. So.
Now everybody
yes,
knows.
just to throw all the retail on Palantir and then rug pull everything.
Undisclosed banking and company.
All right, so Palantir Weekly, number 73. Alice's comment is correct. What a freaking week. This has been a fun one. Obviously, Palantir, big price action, went to $12, settled in around $11.50, up 40% in the past 2 weeks, or in the past month. And the big rally from 7 to 10 was awesome on earnings day, but to get to 10 to that 12 level was also really amazing. And we got back to the low 9s, and then we came back to 12. So super awesome week. I guess we'll start the conversation here with Arnie. What were your thoughts on the price action this week? How did you kind of mentally and psychologically handle that as a big Palantir shareholder? And what do you think the future price action may be? Obviously, none of us know, but just given all of the analysis we have done in the community on where we think this bad boy is going.
Well, I'll start from the premise that I'm frankly more comfortable when I see people disagreeing with me. And I get quite nervous when I'm thinking of having a position for the long term. I don't want to touch it, and then it explodes. And it makes me nervous for a simple reason. It happened actually more than one time, but I always had a relatively small position. Initially, when it went from 10 to 30, 40, but it was a small position. Then I added when it was $10, when Putin attacked, and then also there, okay, but relatively small. Back in May, it already started to become May last year, a considerable position, and it went 40% in 2 months. Then I didn't sell any share there. Obviously, we in Insight are regretted. But I realized that when it starts to be a big position, I'm getting nervous if I see too much price action compared with the fundamentals. And here it is what I'm seeing right now. Because if the business is actually growing, how much is the business growing? 20% right now. The stock has moved almost 100% since the beginning of the year. Obviously, the beginning of the year, the multiple were very, very compressed. But this means that the business is growing 20%. The stock moved 100%. This means only one thing. The business is just compounding normally. The multiple has exploded. And the multiple has definitely exploded from almost 5x to 10x.
Yep.
Now, is 10x a price that is outrageous? Oh my God, it's so high. Actually, no. But given the price action that is not based on the fundamentals, this movement makes me nervous. And since I'm not having neither a small position in terms of overall size, neither in terms of percentage, since I was 80% invested in Palantir with an average price of $8, thanks to heavy ads in May last year when, oh, recession, oh, you can't have anything that is growth, SBC, whatever. I decided to reduce the position to a more comfortable 50%, which is already a huge position.
So yeah, that was and you got and Arnie, I want to give you a chance to kind of defend yourself a little bit, because I know me, Chris, and Matt had some thoughts for people who were criticizing you for this. What is your response to anyone in the community who has said that you are a sellout, you are inauthentic, you're a piece of shit for decreasing your 80% Palantir allocation to a mere 50% allocation? I mean, this tweet itself got 65,000 views, so people had some comments.
Well, actually, I didn't recognize.
It's like 65,000 people. Twitter was like, "Yep, this is good. Let's keep giving it to more people. Let's see what they say."
Well, I know it can sound arrogant, but in the same way, I was bashed so hard when I went so hard when nobody wanted to touch Palantir. The fact that I'm getting this opposition, and you can look at the comments. How many people are commenting without knowing my condition? On parentheses. How many people? How many
Clayton
people
Schmucker.
were comfortable having 80% of their portfolio in a stock that went from being up 40%, from a portfolio that went up 40% to down minus 30% back in December? How comfortable were these people? How they were commenting? And what kind of research they shared? So
yeah. I mean, it was pretty stupid. It was pretty
without
dumb.
even considering, okay, but how big? Notice one thing. There were so many comments. How many comments actually asked me, "Hey Arnie, you have quite a let me say quite an understanding of Palantir since you have been investing for 3 years. I shared 100 research articles on that. I explained why the price was stupid at $5-6, while I had no rush at the beginning. Do you remember when nobody cared of SBC? I wrote an article sharing, look, if you don't consider SBC in your DCF, you are basically making a mistake that makes your price target from $14 to $8, just including or not including the dilution.
So here's the thing. I think this gives you such a big credibility boost, Arnie, that it's well worth it to just say it. There are going to be people out there that says Palantir will be X, Y, and Z by X, Y, and Z. And no matter what happens, they're just, they're going to ride the momentum higher. You are the difference between them. They're doing it for the clout. You're doing it for actually investing. Okay. The moves that you're making are very prudent. And I'm not saying that because, Chris Patel is the bear or whatever. No, a good investor knows when things have gotten a little bit over. Yeah, I am. But when things have gotten overvalued and they're not emotional about it. They're going to take a small bit off the table. And guess what? This is the same guy. If it goes back down to $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, that's probably going to use those gains to buy back again. Right now, Arnie, you have his cash position now. You sold this position. You have cash on the side. Let's say it goes back to $7. Are you going to buy Palantir again?
Absolutely.
So there
but
you
why?
go. That's the guy.
But why?
Because the valuation is more in your favor. It makes more sense.
Exactly.
Right?
So it is not that the business is or improving too much or is deteriorating. It is only a price action.
Yeah. And I know that some people can easily say, oh, you're just a trader, X, Y, and Z. Yeah, but you know what? Making money isn't about just holding on forever and, just waking up one day. Sometimes you have to be smart and say, you know what? Things got a little overextended. Let me sell a little bit and then get back in because I still like it. You know how many Tesla bulls were able to sell at $300, and right now they have enough cash to buy in double, maybe even triple their position at $100, and they've actually gone even higher exponentially because you have to take the emotion out of this and saying, you know what, I just love this company and I'm going to hold it forever. No, sometimes if you see some stupidity come in the market, take a little bit off the top. You still have 50% of your portfolio in this company. If you weren't bullish on this company long term, you would have sold all your position. Yep. So anyone who's criticizing Arnie, I'm sorry. You guys are just a bunch of fanboys, cult followers that just pray to the altar of the sacred cow that is known as Alex Karp.
Look, it's personal.
Not a cow, it's a goat.
Reason,
it's
right?
a goat. It's not a cow, it's a goat. Okay.
It's personal finance for a reason, right? I mean, it all depends on perspective. And I think a lot of these people just come on Twitter and YouTube and they just chat, right? They just don't actually have any substance to really bring to the table. And at the end of the day, it's what makes that individual comfortable, right? Somebody might say, for example, it's stupid to get into Palantir right now because the price might dip back down to below $10 a share. But if you're looking at it from a 10, 20-year time horizon, it might be actually pretty prudent to be picking up shares here. And it really all just depends on what your perspective is and what your time horizon is and what you're really looking at. And if you're a trader like Chris does with a lot of these things, gets in and out, and it is very nimble. People give Chris a lot of hard time about it as well. It's personal finance. Chris also has a long-term portfolio that he doesn't really speak about much, but at the end of the day, it's like these quick moves in and out, and especially if you're at 80% and you're bringing it down to 50%, I think it's a prudent move, right? Especially someone that's so young in their career and has the ability to potentially diversify or do whatever you want with. Maybe you had a bill you had to pay. Maybe you have another thing, right? People that are just chatting and trying to poke the bear just are lacking perspective, right? And I think a lot of people, and I think Tom said this really well on his channel, people giving Chicken Little a lot of crap, right? The guy still made
Chicken
100
genius,
grand.
Chicken genius.
Yeah, sorry.
Man, that was the most disrespectful,
I'm sorry.
hilarious thing.
Chicken
I've heard.
genius. Yeah, people are giving Chicken Genius a hard time, but at the end of the day, he made 100 grand, right? I mean,
no, but Matt, you know why Chicken Genius is getting the ridicule? It's because whenever he does anything, he's like, "You donkeys!" Like he insults people. Like, "You donkeys for not buying when I told you to buy, and donkeys for when you don't sell when I tell you to sell."
Some of that is showmanship, right? I mean, and Carlos and Vitali do a really good job of that too, right? They're very good about the entertainment aspect of being on YouTube and being in front of people. I don't do that as well, right? So I rely more on my God knows what. I wouldn't even consider smarts because I'm not that intelligent either. But at the end of the day, some of that stuff is just based off the YouTube personality and trying to be in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
He's like, "Look at me, I'm saving baby turtles. What are you doing? I made $100,000 while saving baby turtles."
And then there's some hot chick at the end of the video. I'm just like,
so some of these chicks that he brings on are fire though, man. I'll tell you guys secretly. My wife's probably asleep right now, and she'll probably catch this tomorrow, so it's okay. I have yellow fever. Anytime I see those chicks he brings, I'm like, "Hey, what's up? What's up, yo? What's up?"
I'll never forget my biggest mistake, and then we'll turn it back to something serious. I was dating a really attractive chick. When I was living in Trinidad and Tobago, I was dating some really attractive chick. My brother was like, "Dude," he's like, "You know what would really make your YouTube channel take off?"
Yeah.
He's like, because I lived in one of the sickest apartments. I was overlooking the water, and at nighttime you could actually see the lights from Venezuela because it was only 6 miles away. Like, it was crazy. So he was just like, "Dude, just have a nice cigar just like burning on the tabletop out there, and you just walk through your apartment and just end with this beautiful picture, this beautiful woman out to the sunset." And he's like, "And have that be the intro to every one of your videos." He's like, "You'll have 100,000 subscribers."
That's why I keep trying to get Kelly on the podcast to get 100,000 subscribers, but she won't come on.
Yo, I'm telling you, if we got a really attractive girl to be on any of these weekly podcasts, it would explode. Bro, your channel would blow up.
You know that the probabilities are really against us. How many? What's the percentage of female people in your?
Bro, it's like 0.5%, but we got Alice. Alice represent. Alice is, I think she's from Portugal. She's always here. I love Alice. She's there. We got Kelly. Kelly's there.
Just think about, look at Gunjan, man. If we somehow got Gunjan Banerjee from CNBC.
I keep DMing her. She doesn't respond. I'm like, I see you're tweeting. I know you could see these messages, but she doesn't respond. Adam, let me get you in here because you just joined. What were your thoughts on the Palantir price action this week?
Yeah, I was really, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Thank God. Yeah, I was really excited. I was glad that we broke 10, and I was glad that we held this entire time. We ended the day pretty much even after a really good run up, and more importantly, we had 2 beautiful days of volume. Right, before yesterday it was like 170 million or something, and today it was like 70 million, it was approximately some shit like that. And most importantly, it wasn't coming from Kathy Wood, right? Like, I thought it would be mostly from her. So the question is, who's buying? Which is really interesting, right? Like, really, who's buying? And these are major trades. So I'm really happy the way the week ended. And I think I was biting my nails like everybody else. Like, are we going to drop? Are we going to drop? Or are we going to hold good? So I'm happy. Good week. Great week.
Okay.
This is the quietest I've ever heard, bro.
I know
he's on baby duty right now, so he's like, I gotta talk quiet.
Guys, I have a little question for you.
Real quick, Arnie, let Adam finish, and then you got it. Go ahead, Adam.
No, I was just gonna do baby talk. Go ahead, Arnie.
Okay, Arnie, you got it. Go ahead.
Do you think in a situation like this, taking something out of the table does make you not a long-term investor? Because that's the critic.
That's a great question. That's a fun question. Chris,
and
that one?
Some people said, "Oh yes, but look at those Tesla guys. They never sold. Like they took the shares and they stayed there forever."
Can I make a comment about that?
Go ahead.
So at the end of the day, everybody does what's good for them. We're all grown-ass people. Nobody should look at anybody else. Nobody knows anybody's family situation. Nobody knows what they're looking for. So I'll use the one guy on Twitter who reached, I guess, financial independence. He said the other guy, Arnie, you know who I'm talking about? There was a guy,
Yeah,
Eddie. So yo, the guy literally won the game. He won the game of life. He reached financial independence. I don't know what that means for him, but for me, that means he probably made enough money where he could live off of dividends or some passive income, and a relatively good life. And he says he makes 150% of his of his bills through dividend income. Bro, he won. He won in life. Like, he won. What the fuck you want the guy to do? Like, he literally just won life, and he can enjoy his family, not worry about shit. And you think this guy gives a fuck about what you guys have to say? That's one. Two, Arnie is one of the biggest contributors to the community in terms of he's so unique. I don't know. I think he does the best charts or something, like the best numbers. He brings such a good, yeah, he does, right? Like, that's his thing. That's like literally his thing. I literally had to talk him into, like, Arnie, put out more content. It doesn't always have to be bangers like that, right? Like, he's just so good at that. And people are hating on that. He just reduced his position. Also, he didn't completely sell out. He still has a huge position of it. And Chicken Genius, bro, the guy made $100,000. He's in Southeast Asia. He's literally banging all these girls right now. I think he's worth like $6 million. He doesn't have to pay any state taxes because he's not in this country. So he has to, or maybe he has dual citizenships. The point is, for that 100K, he can literally live as if you were making $2 million a year here in Southeast Asia. He's living like king. He doesn't have to do nothing. Banging girls, saving turtles. He doesn't give a fuck what you guys have to say. At the end of the day, everybody does what's good for themselves. So I want to put you guys in this position. Any one of you guys, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, also consider the fact that the mental stability that comes from thinking, hey, I'm financially okay, gives you actually a very strong edge as an investor. Mm-hmm. It's not only about, I have this amount, I have this percentage in Palantir, is how comfortable are you financially so that you can actually think long term? Because everybody wants to think long term. Can actually everyone think long term? Unfortunately, on YouTube, I'm not as good as you guys.
Dude, you need to put that on a t-shirt, Adam. That is awesome, dude. Huh? Banging chicks, saving turtles, bro.
Hold on. Adam, you said something in the morning stream today that I said we need to be on a t-shirt. What did you say again? Do you remember? Oh, he said he was being motivational. He was like, "Look, man, the most undervalued asset is me," and I was just like, "That's a slogan."
Dude, you have these gold mine like quotes. Like, anytime I'm watching your stream, I'm like, "Did he just say that? That would be amazing on a t-shirt." You need to start writing those down, right, and then put that shit in a book. You know, it's like motivational quotes by Adam Bergman.
He's also incredibly funny. Real quick before we move on, let me share this fucking video that I put on Twitter with Adam. Bro, this shit woke me up in the morning.
I have like my phone. You guys are this small. I can't like see shit. I have no lighting over here, bro. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Okay, here we go. I gotta share this video. This shit was, bro. I don't drink any coffee or stimulants. I just try to wake up and get through the day. This shit woke me up in the fucking morning. All right, so this is what Adam said.
I know this one. I was
dead. Here we go.
Same time, everybody's making fun of Palantir, the make funners, how it's a meme stock and it's a clown stock, and comparing it to Bed Bath & Beyond. And to this, I'm going to say Bed Bath & Beyond is for sure better than Palantir because they have a 3 for $10 special. You buy 2 and you get the third shampoo for free. It's an amazing deal for $10, and it's very hard for Palantir's platform to compete with a 3 for $10 special. It's difficult. So I would say Bed Bath & Beyond is by far more advanced than artificial intelligence for the military at the highest possible level.
Bro,
I was done. I was dead. That was great.
Bro, people get me so fucking mad when they talk shit, and I'm like, yo, you might not like Palantir, but you can't say we're a meme. Like, it gets me so angry. But yeah, man, I'm having fun on your streams. I'm having fun with everybody. Shout out to Matt, by the way, man. I guess this is the first time we're meeting.
Oh, it's the first time you guys are connecting? Oh, I love it.
Yeah, first time. Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. A lot of people just love to chat just for the sake of it, right? They're
Dude,
like,
the chat is
Palantir-
blowing up, bro. Saving turtles, banging chicks, saving turtles. If you don't copyright that, bro, I will. All right,
Dude, I don't see a single comment because I'm on my phone, so I have nothing to. I can't tweet, I can't do nothing, and I have no comments. So I'm like trying to pay attention as much as, and it's killing me because I'm like, I got to do a million things at once. But I wanted to say the only thing that bothers me a little bit about Palantir Community, and I shouldn't use that word, not Palantir Community, people that are just riding coattails, right? People that haven't put in the work, people that are OGs, people that are literally just coming in, talking about Palantir, hyping it up. If Palantir goes down, these same people will shut the fuck up and not talk about Palantir. And it happens in crypto like crazy. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
And it gets me aggravated. That's the only thing that I'm kind of tight about. Like people talking about it just to ride the coattails, and they're not really in it. And it hurts because, you know, we bleed this shit, right? You know what I mean? We're really in this shit.
Yeah, I think it's a unique perspective, right? Because my perspective is it's really good if a lot of people start talking about it, just because you want the community to get bigger. You don't always want it to be 5 or 10 people. You want it to be 5 million people one day. But then there's obviously some actors that are just doing it for the views and the attention, which is fine. But it's like, if it's just that narcissistic, then there's really no value at the end of the day to the overall community.
That's why I'm here.
The only
right?
thing.
Oh, of course, Matt. That's the only reason you're here.
It's the only reason.
It's not like we're going to ask you about the AIP platform you got a chance to use this week. It's not like we're going to get into that.
No, it wasn't a sandbox. Don't get your hopes up.
Chris, let's get your thoughts on Arnie's question. Can you be a long-term investor and still sell the way Arnie did?
Yeah, it just depends on, you know what, I'll tell you right now, I have a portfolio where it's just indexes. Literally, it's just VTI. I don't touch that. That's like and I was telling Ahmed about this earlier this week.
Strongman finance.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, I have a defensive portfolio. That's like my fortress of solitude. Like that's the money that I know that I can always reach into in case something happens really badly with in trading. Like people think that just because you trade, you can't invest long term. No, you invest long term on the side. You can trade a little bit here and there. Learn about the market. A lot of this is just learning processes. Now, here's the thing. If you're taking your entire portfolio every day, moving in and out of positions, then yeah, you're pretty much a trader at that point, But dude, I have real estate assets. I have stocks. I have bonds that I've been holding for freaking 10, 15 years. Dude, people don't even know that about me, that I invest in bonds. Like, I mean, Amit probably knows because I've spoken about it in the past, right? So as a bond investor, that is long-term investing in a nutshell. That's what bond guys do. So I think it's unfair to categorize anyone that sells a position as, oh, you're just a trader. I think what it is your portfolio sometimes is worth just being more passive and then sometimes being more active. Right now, my positions are a lot more active because I see so much opportunity in the market that I'm not even sleeping right now. I'm doing as much research as I can while the market is stupid and is willing to give me huge discounts on things 2 years ago people would have gone crazy to buy, So that's the thing. There's a time to be a passive investor and then there's time to be an active investor. So right now my portfolio is geared towards 30% passive, 70% more active. Like a lot of the things I've been buying are like banks, and I've been pretty transparent about that, right? Some of the other plays that I have with semiconductors and the AI space, that's another thing because these are like the generational opportunities where you can actually build wealth. Imagine buying all these companies on the cheap after the market had collapsed in 2001, after the internet.com bubble, and picking up Amazon for $3, because that's what's happening right now. You're able to find these companies that everyone else has thrown away, buy them now, and then hold those suckers for 10 years. And
Chris, what were your thoughts on the Palantir run up this week? How did you feel about it going?
I didn't trust it. I'll be honest, man. I didn't trust it. I know gap profitability is a great thing, but the price action was just so rich. Especially considering that we still have a looming recession. And when looming recessions come, that means that businesses cut back on spending. So I think the numbers going forward may not be as great, but you know what? I got to hand it. And this is where I was wrong. And I'll admit it proudly. Karp and team are executing, and there's no denying that. And I was wrong about that. So I deserve not to get those huge 40% returns on my portfolio. But to be honest, I was a little bit overexposed. My DCA position had grown to a sizable position in my portfolio, so I and believe it or not, I didn't lose out on as much as a lot of people think, because I sold in the 10s and 11s. So I may have missed out on that giant run up from $7 to $10, but you know, that's the price you pay sometimes, you know. But I will say this, the management team is doing a good job. It looks like they're going to be able to stay gap net income and gap profitable. There may be some short-term headwinds that come around in the second and third, in the second half of the year. But if you really believe in this company, go for it, buy some and just hold it forever. You know, I don't think it's going to matter at this point whether you bought it at 10 or at 7. You know, if you want to get in. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
I just want to add that there's no right or wrong answer, right? But I'll give you guys my personal opinion. If this was like, I don't know, like a year and a half ago, and this happened, you'll be like, oh, this is no big deal. It's only a big deal now that it has a run up. But a year and a half ago or something like this would be like, oh, we're doing so bad. I can't believe we're so down, right? Now, ask yourself another question. And this is just my opinion. I'm not like to anybody. Is this company right now better than it was a year and a half ago? Is it executing more? Is it playing the game, public relations, marketing, a brand new platform? And this is the craziest shit. This whole artificial intelligence thing, in my opinion, Palantir is probably the best bang for your buck if you want to play the artificial intelligence game right now. Think about it. Where are you investing your money for artificial intelligence? Microsoft, Google, Nvidia? All right, cool. Meta. Yeah, you could get returns, but where's that golden star, right?
Where's the
Where's that
10x?
huge
Because
opportunity?
to 10x on the AI plays, all those companies have to become 7, 8, 9, 10 trillion dollar companies.
And now you have like this .com crypto type of craze, right? Like that craze right now. And it's possible that all of a sudden Palantir went from, you know, you got to prove what you can do to all of a sudden you're a leader in AI. You don't got to prove anything because you're in this sector and this
Right.
sector is
And
now
that
red hot.
craze is actually real. It's not .com. It like AI is legit, right? And that's the beauty of it. There's going to be a real winner here.
And AI is more legit than EV, for example. And I'll explain to you my thesis. EV, it was essentially Tesla and maybe another company, right? 2 companies, something like this. They were like pushing to try to break through. AI right now is everything. And if you don't believe me, just check the earnings call. Microsoft, Google, Meta, Amazon, not as much. All they said is AI, 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 AI. And Palantir was AI before AI became cool to be AI, right?
Yep.
So I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it's possible. Also, about this looming recession, I believe we had a recession. We might still have a heavier recession. I believe we had a very minor recession. I don't care about the semantics of the numbers, but we did have 2 negative GDP quarters. Out of the last modern day stock market recessions, not counting the one from COVID, so let's go before that, we had 12 since the Great Depression. Of the 12, the average lasting is right around 10 months. Currently, we had a down market, right, a bear market for a year and a half or so, right, approximately just under a year and a half. Statistically, it shows that the year after you have a bear market and a recession, it grows double digits, 16%. The market goes up. We're talking about, when I say market, I mean S&P 500. So everybody could take it for what it is. It's possible everything was priced in. I'm not saying it was. I'm just giving you guys statistics about the past. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but these are numbers, right? And who knows what's going to happen? Maybe perfect storm. AI is going to take us out of the recession. AI is going to make us better, right? It's possible.
I just want to say, dude, Adam, you are 110% right. I think this is the one thing that every single bear in 2022 at the end, every single one is that I remember said, man, the economy is going to go down, S&P 500 to 3,000, all that nonsense. And then came in ChatGPT and fucking saved everyone's asses, dude. Literally, ChatGPT just came in and railed every single bear, dude. Every single bear got their ass handed to them, you know. And I think you're right. I think AI is going to save 2023 and be one of those growthy things in
Because AI is
2024.
deflationary itself.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
and now you have Kathy Wood coming out here, and whether she's pro or con, good or bad, people follow her. There's a lot of people that follow her, including fund managers. And all of a sudden, we think that the AI market is going to be by 2030, 1.6 trillion. They come out and say some crazy number, 80 trillion. What the fuck? Even if they're 10% right, like even 10%, we're talking about 8 million, which is you know, a magnitude of 4.5, 5 times more than what we expected, which was already fucking crazy. So Alex Karp's 900 million TAM, right? That, if I'm not mistaken, yo, that shit just went out the window. That 900 million TAM is not even close. We're talking about multiple billions TAM right now. That's going to keep coming. I'll give you guys one more food for thought. Me and Amit were talking about it. I want to hear your guys' opinion, each of you, if you don't mind. Right now, Palantir is considered possibly overvalued at around a $30 billion market cap. Right now, it's like 29, 28, right? Let's call it 30. OpenAI was just valued at $30 billion, their last investment. OpenAI is one platform that cannot monetize, that cannot become profitable anytime soon. Palantir has the same platform for commercial, military government, and non-military government that is monetizable. So how the fuck is Palantir overvalued, in my opinion, at 30 billion when OpenAI doesn't hold a candle to Palantir and literally valued at 30 billion? Because Microsoft said it is.
And OpenAI is a commodity. I mean, like the models are outdated compared to Bard. You know, like until they really update it. Yeah, that's an interesting point. So let's go, Arnie. Yeah, go ahead, Arnie. Your thoughts.
That was something I really considered when I went very aggressive on Palantir. With the simple reasoning you just explained about OpenAI, and another comparison with Unreal. Unreal being valued 7 billion with a couple hundred million revenues. It's like, okay, you have Palantir that was trading at almost 10 billion enterprise sales. You have Unreal that is basically similar sector, and theoretically Unreal can grow much more faster, like a Tesla. But the reality is that it's not a recurring business. The free cash flow it can print is actually more constrained because you are hardware. So to me, that screamed, okay, there is something weird in the air. This is an asymmetry that combined with all the previous research made me think, okay, this is the right time to be heavy. But right now,
go ahead.
I think things are changing, because it's true that the water is all increasing, but let me take not the bear side, but the more cautious side. We need to be fair in saying what we are seeing right now is price action moving. So far, we are just seeing expectations of things improving. Things are not improving yet in the numbers. And if you want to have a look at the purely financial numerical side, right now, before we were trading like Servicenow. We were trading at quite a big discount compared with Servicenow, something in the range of 35-40% discount. Let me show you this. So you see this Servicenow was trading at 11x, Palantir was trading at 7. What we see right now is Palantir skyrocketing and almost reaching Servicenow. Why this is important? Because so far, also Servicenow has shared, okay, we are an AI company now. And right now, Servicenow has much better financials than Palantir. It has a 25% growth combined with 30% free cash flow. Palantir has a 20% growth with approximately 20% free cash flow margin. Despite the fact we know that Palantir has a stronger product, potentially they can scale much, much better at the scale of Servicenow. From how financial analysts look at the world, you look at the combination of revenue growth, free cash flow margin, and you compare. Right now, Servicenow deserves, from a numerical standpoint, a much better multiple than Palantir. The fact that right now they are very close hints that the margin of safety on Palantir has decreased. And unless the numbers actually start improving, there is a risk on the stock, not on the business. And this combined must be combined also with the things that Karp and management hinted during the call. Let me ask you this question. What do you think the impact will be of CARP saying, we take the whole market, we don't have a pricing strategy, we just take the whole market and then price as we go? First, we unlock the value and then we price. In the short term, when you think of numbers, how that is reflected into the numbers?
Matt, you want to take that one first?
What was the question? Sorry, I zoned out.
Right, Arnie, repeat it.
So far, we know that the numbers of Palantir are relatively weak compared with those of Servicenow in terms of free cash flow and margin. I know the product is not is not similar, but financially, as the business work, they're very similar. CARP in the last interview said, in the last earnings call said, we have no pricing strategy. We take the whole market. First, we unlock value, then we price. If you have to consider the financial impact of this assertion, how would you see the numbers flowing?
Well, it depends if you're looking short-term or long-term, right? I think a lot of these companies are Snowflake and ServiceNow. I don't really know much about ServiceNow, so I'm just going to be completely blunt. But a lot of these other companies that are really just entry-level comparatively to the product of what Palantir is truly offering. And I think, to me, people might price it initially off of what, the go-to-market strategies and the ability to get higher revenue growth in the short term. But it really all just depends on what you're looking at in terms of, our ServiceNow, our Snowflake actually going to be, and I'm sorry if I'm dancing around your question, but this is just my fundamental belief. Our ServiceNow, our Snowflake, all these other companies going to truly be the game changers in the industry that they think? Or is it going to be slower, where eventually it's going to be like Palantir their product is just going to be ultimately superior? What they're offering, which is customizable software, building themselves an operating system within your organization, is truly going to be the difference between what you thought you wanted at, say, a Snowflake or something else, to actually being something that truly changes your business and truly helps you understand the problems. So it's very difficult to answer. I mean, from a Wall Street perspective, I think these companies, just based off what you're talking about for ServiceNow, like I said, I'm not 100% certain about what entirely they do, but comparatively to like a Snowflake, obviously Snowflake is going to be valued twice as much as a Palantir at the moment, just based off of their faster growth and stuff of the like. But to me, I think it's going to be very short-term lived, and the long-term Palantir will overtake them.
No, I think you brought a brilliant points. My question was actually more crude, let me say that. I was thinking, what happens if your pricing strategy is just, we take the whole market? Implicitly, what Tesla is doing is decreasing prices. When you decrease this price just to take market, that has a financial impact on the numbers. And what I'm trying to share is that as long as the numbers don't really improve substantially, what we are seeing in terms of valuation is more expectations that the numbers will improve. But in order to have a valuation that is not only strong but sustainable, numbers must be strong.
So you're saying the stock can go down because if your pricing strategy is make it super cheap to gain market share and monetize later, then the numbers won't match the valuation.
I'm a firm believer. Sorry,
that's
Adam,
exactly the risk I'm seeing. Despite it would be absolutely great and the right thing to do to, let's say that next quarter we have very slow revenue growth, but we have, rather than 20 clients, 30 clients, we have 200 clients. That would be a very good sign that what we're doing actually works. From how Wall Street sees the world, hey, you're not monetizing clients, revenues is going down, you have only cost, margins down, that sucks. So that's the risk I see short term for the stock.
So I think that that's already happening, right? You think that they were able to go into Ukraine so quickly to be able to have the product and actually vet them and say, what are your problems? No, they just embedded themselves. They gave them the product for free and showed up. Right. And instead of having to go through, and I wrote this a couple days ago on Twitter, because a lot of people are sitting there being like, I was always asking, why isn't Snowflake getting these cool contracts in the Ukraine and for the vaccine rollout and the NHS? It's because companies like Palantir are in it for the long term. They're not in it to make a buck today. They're in it to gain market share for the long term. And so, to be very frank, if you're still thinking of AIP as a standalone product, it's not. It embeds themselves within the operating system of Foundry and Gotham, right? So you're not just going to show up to a country and say, hey, we have AIP. It doesn't work that way. You have to show up and say, hey, we have this entire way to model everything that you need, whether you're talking about each individual object or sort of classification, which is the ontology piece of things, to be able to have this AIP sort of device truly help you in any sort of way, shape, or form, connect the private part of your business or your government to the public and be able to help create these decisions, whether that's with organizing data and stuff like that within Foundry or whether that's decision making in Gotham. So, I understand where you're going at, but that's the whole reason why Palantir's been slow to gaining all this revenue as it is because they're going into these countries, there's going into these nonprofits and giving the opportunity away for free. But it's opened the door for CARP to be able to go to Denmark like we saw this week. It's opened the door for the NHS contract. It's opened the door for all these other companies scratching their head being like, who the hell is this Palantir folk that we had to align all of our CV information to the pandemic information with? The amount of people that I know only know about Palantir is because they were recording all their pandemic numbers through a Palantir database and they had to upload it to. Like, that's how I know a lot of people actually know. So to have that exposure, you think that Palantir gave that away and charged the government, or they basically were just like, hey, this is our opportunity to truly use ourselves for good, to keep the West up and as prolific as we think it should be. If that was the case, working in Ukraine, vaccine rollouts, all these other things, the revenue would be more than $2 billion in this particular year.
That's exactly the reason why I'm invested heavily, because there is all this work, all this value that has actually been unlocked that has not been monetized yet. What I want to highlight and encourage people to be cautious on is don't take for granted that now on we will see an explosion in the numbers, even if the business actually goes very well. For the simple reason that from what we heard, the idea of Palantir right now is not maximizing growth in terms of revenues, is not maximizing margins, but it is maximizing adoption. And we know that adoption is costly. That's why I encourage people to think, be cautious on the numbers, even if the business is doing the right thing and creating a real value for the long term. Because I think let's do
Chris
on that.
Then Adam. Go ahead, Chris.
They said.
Oh, sorry, Arnie. You still have something to say? Go ahead, Arnie. Go ahead.
Well, they said we will stay GAAP profitable, but we will keep investing aggressively. So, what I encourage you to think, be cautious in not thinking that necessarily we will start seeing margins keep increasing. Like now we have a 1% net income margin, and then we go increasing by there, because right now they have the incentive from a tax perspective and also from a business perspective just to stay barely positive at let's say 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent, while you're investing everything. And this, even if it is good for the business long term, from how Wall Street sees the world, is potentially a risk, because you create value that has not been monetized in terms of revenues while you are incurring cost, which means into words, maybe even if the value that Palantir unlocks is huge and the value of the Palantir company itself increasing exponentially in terms of numbers, there could be pressure in terms of revenues are not growing so much, the cost stay relatively high, so profitability doesn't improve. The hint that we have as an investor will be, are the clients increasing and the existing clients are keeping increasing?
All right, Chris, go ahead. You're muted.
Oh, just share the screen real quick. So this right here is the chart of Salesforce. I think this Palantir, I think the price action on Palantir is going to be very similar to Salesforce. Now, of course, when you're looking at it like this, you can see the giant drop from 300 to back to like 131. So that's a huge drop. And now it's still covered slightly, all the good stuff, right? So you can see a lot of this price action here seems muted, but that's because you're looking at the chart after all this growth has happened. If you look at right here in 2008, they were at $17, price adjusted for what they were. They had went from $17, dropped off to $5. That is a 60% drop in price. At another time, they went from $37 back down to $25. That's a 30 something percent drop. Again, over here, they were at $80, $81, dropped down to $60, right? That's almost a 25% drop. Here they were at 150, dropped down to like 134, not really a big deal. But you can see that overall, in the long grand scheme of things, this company ended up performing exceptionally well. So I would say this is the same thing with Palantir, where it'll have its moments where it runs up, it'll correct back down, and then it'll run up again, and then there'll be a new base that forms, and then it runs up again, and then it comes down, and another basis forms, another run up. But you're going to see a very linear trend like this for Palantir. So anytime I see these giant rips, I don't mind selling a little bit, and when it comes back down, buy back in again and run the rip again higher up. So right now, Palantir's new bottom, I don't think it's $7. If you think that you're going to get $7 Palantir again, good luck. I wish you the best of luck. But if you're telling me that, but I think that right now, the $8, maybe $9, that's possible that we get back to it again, and then it'll run up to 15, and then everyone's going to say, well, you know what, the base should be 11 or 12. And then again, it'll come down to 12. People will buy again, and then it'll run up to 20. And then people will think the base is supposed to be 15, and so on and so forth for the next 20, 30 years. I think that's what's going to happen. So I'm in no rush to accumulate a ton of shares at this price. I think it'll come down to $9. I'll sell some cash covered puts at that price. And if it meets my thing, I'll be happy.
Adam, go ahead. You were going to say something?
Yeah. Two things. When Carp said we're taking over everything, we're not worried about the price, I took that as something else. I could be completely wrong, but what I understood is he's basically saying we're going to put out a product that works. We're going to put out a product that nobody's going to be able to compete with, and that's how we're going to take market share, because our product is going to be that good and effective in what it's supposed to do. That's what I understood it, not more so as we'll charge it. We're going to price it so low that we're going to take market share. I thought he meant.
Yeah, I think there's two ways of. I think Arnie's way makes a lot of sense given what Tesla's doing. I think your way also is reasonable, because I think that's how a lot of investors felt that, if we're going to take the whole market, you're just going to be better than everyone else, which means you're going to monetize the crap out of it because no one else can even try to compete with your monetization. But that might require them to, if a company is saying, hey, Palantir salesperson, we're thinking of Microsoft, and Palantir salesperson knows their product is way better than whatever Microsoft cooks up, but they give it at a cheaper price just to get them so that they can expand later. That's Arnie's thesis, and that might happen. I guess that's what we're going to see over the next 2 years, right?
Well, that's the risk I'm seeing. Again, despite that would be the right thing to do over the long term in order to be sure that in 10 years we'll be the dominant players. Short term, that could mean potential pressure. So I'm not here to say bad, but to say, guys, be cautious, because in the same way Tesla has been punished for actually making a smart thing in creating adoption right now that other companies can't really do what Tesla is doing. And for Tesla, a client is actually much more valuable over the long term than a traditional auto company, because the traditional auto company just sells the car and it's done. A Tesla client can not only buy the car, but can become basically a SaaS, like a software client. So the long-term value of each new client actually increases the more Tesla provides services. If you think of this way, Palantir is in a similar situation where each new client is potentially incredibly valuable, especially because Palantir has the whole software stack as an operating system. Now they are attracted by AAP, but from Palantir's incentive, right now, we just need to take the biggest number of clients that we can take, while showing Wall Street that we are GAAP profitable, so that Wall Street is happy. Our clients are happy because they feel we are in the hands of a company that can sustain itself. Doesn't matter how much. They just need to see on paper GAAP profitability checked. That's how most of the business world works, especially in the UK.
So can you share the screen real quick, just to update everyone? So me and Bergman over here, we've got a little bet going on with Palantir versus Snowflake. And for the most of the year, I've been kind of like throwing it in his face every time I get like, "Hey, Bergman, get my 2Gs ready." This is the first time in a long time I'm actually kind of worried that I might be out of 2Gs at the end of the year.
I
So
can't read the screen; it's too small for me.
no,
Can someone tell me what's
Palantir right
happening?
now. Palantir from when me and you started our bet is up 24%. Snowflake is only up 9%. So just
Okay.
letting you know, Palantir is taking the lead. And I'm actually kind of worried that I might have to cough up to 2,000.
Adam,
You know,
what are you gonna do with the $2,000? You got to tell us what you're gonna do with that money.
I don't know.
You better
bro.
open a
That's not-
529 plan, bro. That's what you need to do. Open that. You're just popping out these kids right and left,
Yeah,
Bergman. You know.
I have custodial accounts for them that I invest the money into, not 529s. I don't like that because of what it has to be used for. So, but yes, I would invest it for my kids. I don't know, bro. The $2,000, I'll put it away somewhere, get some interest on it. Or
Adam's like, I'm gonna go get dinner. That's what I'm gonna do.
No, bro, no, that all changed, bro. I got destroyed in this last market. Yo, you don't understand how hard it was for me to recover, and thankfully, I was able to. Like, I clawed back
Yeah.
very hard. And can I just say one lesson about the price, like selling, buying, all these things? I learned one thing: don't chase the price. So anybody buying at this point, I'm not going to tell you to buy or sell. What I'm going to say is, I was buying on the way down. And now that it's going up, I will not spend another motherfucking dollar, except for maybe options to try to flip some money. Same thing with HIMS. I'm not chasing it when it's going up. I'm waiting for it to patiently go down right now.
You gotta be patient here. Gotta
yeah.
be patient.
Mhm.
Truest, my number is $30. It hits 30, I'm done. I'm not spending another dollar on it. It's going down, I'll think about it. Like, guys, you have to have a threshold because you guys are going to get slaughtered. Palantir might go up to $20. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number. It's arbitrary. It doesn't matter. But you don't know. Don't chase it. When it's going down, enjoy. There's always opportunities in the market. This is one thing I learned. Always there's places to make money.
That's the only thing that saved me from entering. Like, I entered at 10 and I didn't purchase anything because I said, okay, the price I paid was already quite expensive at $10. I'll not buy a single share above it. And the bottom line of what you're saying is only buy substantially when you know that you are buying from people that are fearful. Don't buy shares from people moved by greed.
I learned that from you, Arnie, actually, on Palantir. I remember I told you that one time. I said I learned something from you. I don't know if you remember I said that. Be very patient when you're getting into a position. So I was very patient buying down, and I wasn't chasing it when it was going up. I kept buying down, down, down. So yeah, guys, please just learn from the market. So, Chris, how much money did you lose before you learned something? Matt, Arnie,
$250,000 on one fucking trade. $250,000 on one trade. I told you guys, Cobalt Energy. I still have the bankruptcy filing to prove it. Not my bankruptcy, the company's bankruptcy. Because people that tell me, "Oh, Chris, you don't buy and hold," bro, I held into bankruptcy. Imagine that. Like, I was still like, I was looking at the bankruptcy filings and, man, I wonder if I'll get some of my money back. You know, like, I wonder, bro, 250 grand.
And bro, people don't know you were up like 600% and you were still
Yes.
holding. You were up
Yeah.
600% and he was still holding.
Bro, I could have had generational money. And this is when this is like 2016, 7? No, 18.
5
Because
years ago.
because the damn market fell out, like the bottom fell out of the energy sector. Like, the energy was just gangbusters. Everything was amazing. And then all of a sudden the price of oil goes down, all the offshore rigs go down, all these discovery companies go down.
Oil is zero, man. I'm telling you.
Bro, it
Chris,
was
when
bad.
that happened, was your like wife afraid of like your health?
Thank God she didn't know about it back then.
She didn't know about it. Oh
No,
my God. You
no.
hid that from your wife. Wow.
I mean, she wasn't my wife then. She was still my girlfriend. So,
But
she
still, I
had
mean,
no-
you guys were thinking of having a life together, and she,
please, she came in with student loan, like that was like into 200,000. At least I came in with some assets. She came in with negative equity. All right. So just, she had no right in telling me how to manage my money when she went to school and was just like, hey guys, let's go to pajama parties instead of freaking working so we could pay for college. Like, no, like
And
she could
it's
chill.
good that you could recover, bro. Everybody has a story. That anybody that really invests has a story, and the main thing is I could say is learn. I am a much better investor now
Yeah.
than I was. Like, bro, I learned so much, but you only learn when you're getting fucked, like straight up.
That's
When
facts.
everything's sweet, you're not learning nothing in life.
One of my first investments was a biotech in 2020. I thought everything was great. Drug was going to get approved. Wake up one morning. There's something that happened called a reverse split. I was like, the fuck is this? I was like, my 3,000 shares or my 30,000 shares became 3,000. I was like, who the fuck took my 27,000 shares? What's going on? It was 10-1 too. And that's when I learned, it's kind of hard being an investor. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude,
on
if you
my
haven't
side,
had your battle, if you don't have some battle scars, bro, you're not a real investor. Everyone's got their battle scars. And you know what? All of us are scarred from Palantir because we were the ones that were like, yeah, Palantir to the moon, $20. PE is price to sales was what? Like in the triple digits. And we were like, screw that, bro. This
at
is the
Snowflake.
future. Yeah. Well, no, the Snowflake is good though. Snowflake is good.
Arnie, go ahead. You were gonna say something?
Well, by my side, for instance, I think I've been able to manage Palantir relatively well compared with my past experiences, only because I made such a big mistake with Alibaba that I think it was not a mistake in terms of entering. The conditions were actually good, but what I truly understood is that what truly makes the difference between an okay mistake and a big mistake is having the right position given the right conditions. So if you lose a half position on a 5% portfolio, on the 5% of a position, it's like, okay, it hurts, it sucks. This, even if it is like 10%. But what I did was actually going like 30%, and the position was cut in half. And what really made me understand, okay, here I really screwed up, because when the price was dropping, theoretically, I would have been happy to add. But the reality was, hey, I realized that I haven't done such a good due diligence. I'm not that confident that I would not add any longer. That's the reason why with Palantir I got so paranoid, because I want to stay for the long term. But in order to actually be able to confidently go and hit and being very, very exposed, but also having the mental health to actually manage a position, even when it was like in December, I went again. I was down 30% on basically the portfolio, because it was 80% after having the position up 40%. So imagine the mental drama of suffering from a 70% variation from from few months before to down. This is what I really learned, that you need to have a position in terms of allocation that makes you comfortable, and you can do that only if you truly understand what you're doing. It's fine making mistakes, but when it comes to having like a 30% position on a big portfolio, that mistake with Baba costed me like 50K.
Dude, I know everything money. Those guys were just pumping Baba's videos like every other week. There's like, yo, Baba's gonna go. Baba, like Monish Pobrai was never wrong. You should buy Baba $200 of steel. Bro, even they got their asses handed to them, and they're like the king's evaluation. They're like, no, this is an undervalued company. The problem is, no matter how many numbers you can run, never, ever, ever trust a Chinese company, because they could pull that rug out from under you at any given time. So anyone right now tells me, hey, I want to buy Neo because it's undervalued, I'm like, bro, you can look at the numbers and it looks super attractive, but the geopolitical risk that they'll pull the rug right from under you is really high. So yeah, I wouldn't touch companies from China,
So
bro.
just to-
Real quick,
cancel-
Adam, go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Go, go.
was gonna say the second I had Baba as well. The second they canceled the Ant deal, I was out. I sold. I'm like,
Oh,
yo,
that's
That's
now
good. That's a
some-
good sell. That's a good
yeah,
sell.
bro.
Yeah.
I was able to sell like it was good. I lost. I don't think I lost. I think I made. Anyways, I was heavy into Baba. I was like, this is bullshit. Jack Ma's gonna get like clipped. I'm done.
No, but that's the point. I don't have anything against investing in China. I just underscore that the underlying situation is way different. I deeply undervalued it. So connected to what I said before, given the conditions, you need to consider having the right allocation, considering that if things can go very sour, and we have proof that in China, things can go very sour from one day to the other, depending on how Xi Jinping wakes up, act accordingly.
Yeah, and
With
that-
Palantir,
that's
it's
one of-
different.
Yeah, that's one of
Just-
the key risks that I think Palantir doesn't have that so many companies do. Like Tesla has Tesla has a big China problem. So does Apple, because so much
Everybody.
of their market is in China and so much of their production is in China. So that right now, if these guys for some reason Xi Jinping wakes up tomorrow morning and says, you know what? I don't like this. I don't like this shit anymore. Fuck the US. And just says we're gonna cut these companies off. Bro, that is a huge, huge problem for these, two major companies in the United States. And to think that retaliation won't happen, bro, it could happen. Taiwan is always a pressing issue. The minute that China invades Taiwan, you think that Apple and Tesla won't take a giant dump? I think they'll take a huge dump,
Bro, I think I'm not trying to make this political, but seriously, let's use if Trump wins next election, he's gonna go so ham into Palantir because Palantir can solve so many of his problems because he's gonna come and say, yo, give me some shit that works. This is all bullshit. We need to get back on top. 1. 2, he's straight up gonna say, I don't want any company that has any connections to any other country except for our country and plays ball with our allies. He's gonna it's not far-fetched. I'm telling the truth, right? That's exactly what he's gonna do the first day. He's like, yo, we need to turn the ship around. We need to, get it right. This is gonna propel Palantir. That's what I'm thinking. Also, I'm betting on that.
Well, we don't hope for tensions to arise, but the optionality Palantir has in regard to visa context is truly, truly big.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for us. That's an hour into the pod. Hopefully, everyone, thank you, 315 people for being here. Hopefully, you all got value from the analysis we had on the price action. I think all of us can conclude price action was crazy. Likely, we'll see some type of pullback. If we don't, that's awesome. If we do, then that's great because a lot of us kicked ourselves for not buying more in the 8 and 9s. And if we get a pushback to 9, I know a lot of us might have our chance to load up a little bit more. That's it for us. Thank you guys for joining. We will be back next week. Check out PalantirBullets.com, Arnie's Substack. Everyone's links in the descriptions. We'll
Bitches
see you
and
next time.
turtles.
Matt, you gonna say anything?
Thank-
Nope. All right. Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
Ciao. Thank you, guys.